We all have a deeply ingrained reflex. When we mess up, our immediate instinct is to contextualize it. We craft apologies that double as explanations, subtly suggesting that our mistakes are the result of bad circumstances, rather than a deeper internal flaw. We prefer to treat our moral shortcomings like a minor software bug or a bad habit. If we just optimize our daily routine, read the right self-help book, or put in a little more discipline, we assume we can train away the flaws over time. In the 19th century, preacher Charles Haddon Spurgeon presented a premise that strips away this comfort. He argued, reality does not accept our apologies. By constantly minimizing the severity of our own internal condition, we effectively blind ourselves to the actual danger we are in. If you convince yourself you only have a slight cold, you are never going to seek out the cure for a terminal disease. A common assumption about spiritual systems is that they exist to lower the moral bar, offering a lighter, more manageable set of rules that frail humans can realistically obey. But the biblical standard, represented by the thunders of Mount Sinai, does the exact opposite. Divine law does not negotiate or grade on a curve. It demands absolute, flawless perfection, sharpening the moral standard until it becomes searing and utterly impossible to achieve. This lethal, systemic venom aggressively overtakes the entire network. Every attempt to justify ourselves against a perfect law only exposes our deeply compromised internal systems. Our relentless moral hustle, the constant drive to prove we are good enough, isn't a cure. The very fact that we think we can work our way out of an infinite deficit is the clearest symptom that the condition is fatal. To understand the true scale of the deficit, you have to inventory an entire lifetime. Combine the reckless missteps of your youth with the calculated transgressions of adulthood, and then add in every dark, secret thought you've ever kept hidden. When you compile these disparate, hidden failures into a single dataset, you get an aggregate mass of guilt. It builds a terrifying, insurmountable structure. Confronted with a mass this large, the math stops working. You cannot dismantle an ever-growing mountain through piecemeal apologies, daily good deeds, or transactional labor. Because the volume of this failure is practically infinite, a valid cure must possess a disproportionate, overwhelming power. It has to be capable of eradicating the entire mass at once. Spurgeon points to a specific historical countermeasure, found in a single line from the first book of John. The blood of Jesus Christ his Son cleanseth us from all sin. This remedy doesn't operate by throwing a blanket over the darkness or weaving a mantle of polite excuses. It confronts the blackness directly and actively neutralizes it. The text pivots on one absolute word, all. It leaves zero exceptions. Regardless of the severity or sheer volume of crimes, no failure can withstand the antivenom. This overwhelming force washes every failure out of existence, dissolving the structure into a clean void. The true remedy is defined entirely by this absolute disproportion. It is an infinite flood, permanently and violently neutralizing an infinite mountain. Human nature is deeply offended by the idea of a free rescue. We operate on a strict economy of effort, convinced that anything valuable must be earned through our own hard work and suffering. So we substitute exhausting, useless labor for the actual cure. We try to pray longer, force ourselves to feel deeper compunction, or perform better works, hoping we can slowly pay off the debt ourselves. Spurgeon counters this with a jarring motif: look and live. The mandate is to entirely cease your striving, bring absolutely nothing in your hands, and simply trust the antivenom to do its work. True spiritual survival remains impossible until the exact moment you drop your arrogant reliance on your own hustle. Many hope this remedy will be applied in the distant future, perhaps in their final moments on a deathbed. But the grammar of the text is shocking. It says, "The blood cleanseth," present tense, right now. This transaction is radically direct. There are zero physical barriers between you and the cure, zero preconditions you have to meet, and zero preparatory cleanup required before you are allowed to receive it. The challenge is to step completely out of your exhausting cycle of legalism. The invitation is wide open to simply accept the instant, complete antivenom that is already poured out. Escaping the venom requires accepting a difficult truth. The most profound, life-saving cure in the universe demands absolutely zero human effort.